Good morning. I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to this conference. It's a great honor for me to have this opportunity to be here to give this talk. I want to thank all of you for coming. I would like to thank the Cultural Protection Fund, the University of Oxford, and all British corporations and funders for this project. Special thanks to Dr. Inawi for his guidance and his great support and his kind advice to me. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Robert, the EMINA project director, for his constant support, and Reality, Pascal, Jenny, Dana, all of project team, and volunteers to my family. Without you, I wouldn't have to come this far. I have a bachelor's degree in archaeology, and I have a master's degree in the impact of using advanced technology on cultural heritage from Sorbonne University, Paris. I was one of the trainees in the CBF funding training program of the EMINA project, and I learned how to use the EMINA database in documenting heritage and archaeological sites in order to monitor these disturbance risks and threats facing those sites in the Middle East and North Africa. At the dawn of new era, vast expansion of global human communication is profoundly influencing culture everywhere. In recent years, the world had witnessing the remarkable development in the technology industry in all its forms. The MENA region is very rich in cultural heritage and archaeological sites, but partly as a result of the expansion of global communication networks, there are many natural and human disturbances. These include different types of risky threats, such as looting followed by illegal trade in antiquities and masterpieces. From this perspective, the threats which have affected many of cultural heritage sites have caused many organizations and institutions to take action involving heritage conservation and monitoring attempts to reduce these threats, including documenting them using advanced technology so that the future generation can know their best. Now I'm going to show you two case studies of organizations and institutions in the MENA region which decided to take action toward adopting advanced technology to impact on cultural heritage. After providing the examples, I will move out of MENA region to demonstrate one example where global communication through Wikipedia has made a major contribution to the preservation of heritage. Finally, I will highlight some reasons why the use of advanced technology is still limited despite in room's potential. The first institution is the Documentation Center for Cultural and Natural Heritage Continent, affiliated with the Bibliothèque Alexandria, Egypt. Since 2003, Continent has been building databases that cover the diverse fields of Egypt heritage, gathering massive amount of data, applying and creating advanced technology, and employing highly qualified human resources. Significantly, Continent's multilingual databases hold a high repository of heritage information, including 3D high-quality images that wealth of knowledge is disseminated through different channels, which including the panoramic interactive display system, Culturama, together with books, multimedia applications, documentary films, hologram, the wall of knowledge, a 3D virtual restoration, augmented reality, mobile application, and GIS services. In this context, I will talk about the most important techniques developed by Bibliothèque Alexandria in preservation of cultural heritage. The first one is hologram. The hologram, when the global mask of Tutankhamun was transferred to the restoration lab, there had to be a temporary model of the mask in the same place in the museum. Therefore, it was necessary to use the hologram fully simulated, so that the visitor could see the original mask with the high definition. Caltnet used the photogrammetry system to develop a 3D modeling, a 3D hologram, until the golden mask returned to own showroom again. The simulated mask is now in Caltnet, this one. The second one is the Culturama. Culture is also called Culture Interactive Panorama. Is the first fully interactive multimedia program displayed on 9 semicircular screens, creating a panoramic display in culture and natural heritage. A panoramic display in culture and natural heritage. In addition, this area used to deliver a wide range of information could have never been delivered using standard computer displayed. Examples of such information are historical timelines, panorama of real scenes and sites, visual comparison between many items, and the clear display of large objects. In April 2002, at the opening ceremony of Bibliotheca Alexandrina, Caltnet introduced this display method to the public for the first time with 10 minutes cultural heritage multimedia show. Culturama has different sections which present different periods of Egyptian history. Those sections are ancient Egyptian period, highlights of Coptic period, Islamic civilization, and modern Egypt. And the third one is the Wall of Knowledge. The Wall of Knowledge app using augmented reality in order to increase public engagement with the art and heritage displayed inside the museum, especially among younger generations. This technique depends on describing pre-designed posters, including inside the museum, which include basic information about the specific art piece or heritage topic. Imagine you are a visitor to a museum, and you are using the Wall of Knowledge app from your mobile or tablet, where the posters or physical object tells you about its story, but by a virtual text, images, and 3D objects. The augmented reality has a futuristic floating user interface with options of what to look at. This technique can revive the ancient archaeological heritage to make the user interact with the ancient experience in different 3 languages, Arabic, English, and French. Augmented reality seems to potential to become the preferred method for enhancing the museum visitors' experience. The Wall of Knowledge experience is currently available at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Cairo, and the British Museum, and recently at Bibliotheca Alexandrina Antiquities Museum in Alexandria, Egypt. More museums are currently under development by the Bibliotheca Alexandrina. The fourth one, 3D virtual illustration, or the cave projection system, is a new documentation technique that recently joined the advanced technology using the preserve and present the cultural heritage. When you stand in the center of the cave, you can live interact with the heritage story without having to wear virtual reality glasses or headset. Through this technique, we can reconstruct the perception of some of the damaged archaeological sites. For example, Caltnet developed the cave for the story of causeway of the King Ounas in Saqqara. Of course, there are other advanced technology. There are advanced technology that the Bibliotheca Alexandrina develops for cultural heritage, like laser scanning, GIS, 3D modeling, photogrammetry techniques using drones, and mobile applications, but there will not be time here to display them all. I prefer to highlight the most important techniques used by Bibliotheca Alexandrina. Now, the second institution using advanced technology, as you all know, in the documenting cultural heritage, is University of Oxford by EMINA project. The EMINA database is an online open access resources in which we record the information about archaeological sites and disturbance and threats that are affecting them, as you all know from 2 days before. Which we recorded about the archaeological sites and disturbance that threats that are affecting them. The EMINA database relies on several sources, including recording data through satellite and aerial imagery, recording of GPS point, various certified historical reference, previous and current archaeological excavations and surveys, and field visits to archaeological sites. The EMINA database aims to monitor threats and disturbance that happen to archaeological sites in the Middle East and North Africa. In the EMINA database, all the details information you can imagine about the record is divided into several sections: classification, condition assessment, forms and interpretations, related resources like bibliographies, satellite and aerial imagery, photos, registration on the UNESCO World Heritage List, a journal, article, archive, collection, etc., as well as copyright registration for all added resources. It's really a huge database with contains over 150,000 records. The EMINA database, as with all databases, is a work in progress and always being developed. As an intern of EMINA project, I learned a lot about ways to detect threats and disturbance using satellite imagery through Google Earth Pro, also through field visits to take photos and GPS points. During and after training, I have able to put at least 100 records of archaeological sites in the EMINA database as the start of usage. Maybe some of those records having threats, while others are surely have threats and disturbance. In order to monitor threats and disturbance facing these heritage sites, I check each pixel in a specific area through satellite imagery to get the maximum result using Google Earth Pro and various certified historical reference. Certainly, all of my records on EMINA database will be always updated through the previous method. I have got many skills through the EMINA training, since I'm already working with my colleagues on the development of Egyptian archaeological map project at the Bibliotheca Alexandria. In addition, this training has improved my ability to analyze the satellite imagery of archaeological sites. I just highlight those two institutions because of my related with them as an employee in Bibliotheca Alexandria, as a trainee in EMINA project. However, it's clear to everyone that there are many institutions that are currently working on this, on the use of advanced technology for cultural heritage in documenting archaeological sites around the world, especially UNESCO. Moving out of the MENA region, a recent accident that reflects the importance of documentation of archaeological monuments, our culture and the cultural heritage is what happening in Brazil, September 3rd, 2018, Rio's National Museum, which is 200 years old, is oldest and most important historical and scientific museum. On 3rd September, it was consumed by fire with more than 20 million items destroyed. The National Museum holds, including the Louisiana and 11,500 years old skull, considered one of the South America's old human fossils. In addition, the Egyptian collection, which includes several hundreds of ancient Egyptian artifacts, making it one of the largest collections of Egyptian artifacts in South America, has also been destroyed. The museum and Wikipedia have launched a campaign to the visitors who may have created a 3D models or taking photos of the museum's artifacts to upload it on a Sketchfab website or Wikimedia commons because the museum need to create a 3D models of destroyed artifacts. One of those visitors, called Thomas Flynn, has started to upload 3D models on the website with a collection of 25 models of from the museum, which can now access by anyone. One of these experts who works as 3D modeling expert at the museum says that the team have now completed hundreds of scannings of several important artifacts of the collection, including fossils, the Louisiana skull, and others, including Egyptian mummies, Greek, and Roman artifacts. In this last minute of this talk, I will now briefly discuss the limitations of using advanced technology in the cultural heritage sector. After my searching, I identified some of these limitations facing the spread of advanced technology in preserve cultural heritage. Number one, the cost of these technologies is still expensive. Also, the previous example from Rio's museum show that crowdsourcing can make a measure and a fairly low-cost contribution. The limited number of advanced technology developers in cultural heritage sectors, the user of traditional methods of documenting are preserving the cultural heritage in some countries, such as user paper notebooks that can be easily damaged. Satellite imagery is not up to date in most places. A lack of public awarenesses, and this important one for me, lack of public awarenesses among people of the importance of using advanced technology in the field of cultural heritage documentation. This is why many of disturbance in the MENA still exist. Eventually, the advanced technology has great help to identify and assess the risks and threats facing cultural heritage, not only the MENA region, but also in the whole world, and demonstrates how these advanced technologies can play a role to mitigate these threats and provide a future opportunity to address these disasters before it happens. Preservation of tangible and intangible cultural heritage content through the advanced technologies is felt as a matter of the highest importance. Accordingly, for protection and preservation of global cultural heritage, we need to create a cooperation between all considered institutions of cultural heritage around the world, examining new approaches and projects for heritage protection, raise awarenesses, and customize budget for support the technology innovations that related to the same aim. Dr. Robert, director of the EMENA project, said, as an archaeologist, it can be easy to forget that not only anyone shares our passion for past or considers our cultural heritage to be as important as we do. Last but definitely not least, I hope that we all work together to formulate strategies for the future aimed to preserving the cultural heritage, because advanced technologies is not only presenting the future of culture heritage, but also as beneficial tools for our future generations in the whole world. Thank you very much.